Hi, I'm Reverend Kenitha Bigum-Sai, Chief Connectional Ministries Officer of the Connectional Table. Friends, Wesley's historic questions were about what to teach, how to teach, and what to do. For these features of the Connectional Table's Emerging Forum, we are seeking to update these questions for our current moment. We are inviting energetic conversation that we hope will illumine our identity, which is tied to what and how we teach, our preferred actions, what we do, and our abiding hopes as we envision the future United Methodist Church. Our intent is to generate passion and energy for constructive conversations that help us walk forward together. Today, I am talking with Bishop Christian Alsted, Chair of the Connectional Table, and the Bishop of the Nordic Baltic Episcopal area in the Northern Europe and Eurasia Central Conference. Good afternoon, Bishop Alsted.
Good afternoon, Kenitha.
Welcome. Tell me about your journey in ministry and your current ministry setting, and tell us something that you think people don't know about your ministry context that they should.
Well, Kenitha, I started young. I was only 22 when I was ordained deacon in 1984, and one month later I got married to Elizabeth, and we started our journey. Had our first appointment on the Danish west coast, a 2-point appointment, and I was ordained an elder in 86 and served in a number of different appointments through the years. I always had a passion for making disciples, developing small group ministries, engage with people, especially engaging with people outside of the church, explore new ministries. I was part of planting a church out of one of the churches I served, and some years later we planted a second church with different leadership out of that church, and it has just always been part of my thinking. I guess my DNA in ministry, to really want to engage in God's mission and look for opportunities to do that. We had a time in the U.S. where I did a D-Min at Asbury Theological Seminary in leadership and preaching, and I served for a DS for 6 years, and then I was elected to the episcopacy in 2009 and serve in the Nordic and Baltic area, which is 7 countries. It is Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Denmark, my own country, and then the 3 Baltic states, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. To share just a little bit about what I think people might not know, is that this area is very diverse. Some of the countries have 150 years history of Methodism. Others, and that is the Baltic states, have had an interruption during the Soviet occupation from 1949. In Estonia, they were able to continue to function as a church under certain restrictions and limitations, while in Latvia and Lithuania, the church was totally closed down. We lost all of our churches, and people were not allowed to gather as Methodists. But the church was restarted in the mid-90s. And so it's a young church in Latvia and Lithuania. It's a very theologically diverse area, also socially, socio-economic, diverse area. In the Nordic countries, we have a state church system with a very high membership. It's a Lutheran church. They have a membership between 70 to 85% of the population, but only between 2 and 5% attend worship on a regular Sunday. So we have this high membership of church, but then in very secular countries, very low attendance. So that's the tension that we live in. Here we are a minority church, often referred to as a free church, because we are independent from the state, as opposed to the Lutheran State Church.
Bishop Alsted, as you've told us, you serve annual conferences in Denmark, Finland, Estonia, Norway, and the other Baltic countries. Given those various contexts, what do you deem essential to the ministry and role of the annual conference? And what do you see as essential to the ministry of the local church, given all that you've said in terms of the context that you serve?
Kenitha, I would say that really at the core, both for the annual conference and really the local church, is connectionalism. The basic understanding that we belong together and that we are better together. That 1 + 1 oftentimes equals 2.5 or 3. That the importance of supporting each other, of being partners in ministry and mission, learning together, learning from each other, as we explore what it means to be in ministry in our unique contexts. So mission and pursuing God's mission, both for the local church and for the annual conference, it's really at the core. I want to quote from one of my friends, Martin Atkins, the former General Secretary of the British Methodist Church, who said that Methodism can best be described as a discipleship movement shaped for mission. And I think that really describes what we're about, what the local church should be about, and what the annual conference should be about.
Now, many are talking and thinking about what the future of the United Methodist Church might be. You've talked about a discipleship movement directed toward mission. What does that church look like from a worldwide perspective? And is it even a worldwide church when you think about connectionalism? Some are grappling with those questions right now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh yeah, to me, it's definitely a worldwide church. I think that is one of the things that characterizes us as Methodists. That our view is global. What is also very important when we think about what a future Methodist church would look like is an understanding of who we are. I find that best expressed really and very short in our doctrinal heritage, where it says our struggles for human dignity and social reform have been a response to God's demand for love, mercy, and justice in the light of the kingdom. We proclaim no personal gospel that fails to express itself in relevant social concerns, and we proclaim no social gospel that does not include the personal transformation of sinners. This, to me, is at the very core of who we are as Methodists, and no matter what the future church look like, this needs to be at the very core of that church. So that is an important part. You'll remember that 5 to 10 years ago, not only in the Methodist Church but across the world, we spoke about the global village. We spoke about globalization, and at that time, globalization was a positive thing. That was something that we were striving towards. The world was coming together. And we used that expression, a global village. But now we talk about separation. We talk about walls. Our leaders promote nationalism. And I'm concerned that as a church, that we get caught up in what is being said by national leaders rather than what the gospel calls us to do and to be. And I think the gospel calls us to be in connection with each other. The gospel sees us as one people, as the people of God. It doesn't speak about borders. It doesn't speak about boundaries. It speaks about us being called from darkness out into his wonderful light. We have become one people. And I think that is something that we need to hold on to in a time that tries to move us in a different way.